Fair Use Daily Reflections. This is a book of reflections by AA members for AA members. April 27th. Joyful Discoveries. We realize we know only a little. God will constantly disclose more to you and to us. Ask Him in your morning meditation what you can do each day for the man who is still sick. The answers will come if your own house is in order, but obviously you cannot transmit something you haven't got. See to it that your relationship with Him is right, and great events will come to pass for you and countless others. This is the great fact for us. Alcoholics Anonymous, page 164. Sobriety is a journey of joyful discovery. Each day brings new experience, awareness, greater hope, deeper faith, broader tolerance. I must maintain these attributes or I will have nothing to pass on. Great events for this recovering alcoholic are the normal everyday joys found in being able to live another day in God's grace. Courage to Change, One Day at a Time in Al-Anon, April 27th. Self-esteem grows when I love and accept myself as I am. I block my own well-being each time I base my self-worth on what I do or what others think of me. If I could please all the people on the earth, if I could straighten everyone out and remedy all the difficulties they face, if I could make the world a perfect place, even then I probably still would not feel good about myself. Indeed, I would have had to give up all myself to accomplish this impossible task. I cannot be perfect. I cannot make others perfect. Yet I am worthy of love, respect, and joy. Let me remind myself each day that I am the child of a perfect higher power. That in itself commands respect, my respect, for the miraculous self I have been given. When I hold this at the forefront of my mind, I will not give up myself in the course of any endeavor. Today's reminder. Today, when faced with choices, I will opt for the path that enhances my self-esteem. I am learning to live a full life, one in which I like and care for the person I am. Al-Anon faces alcoholism. Just for today, Daily Meditations for Recovering Addicts, April 27th. Recognizing and releasing resentments. We want to look our past in the face, see it for what it really was, and release it so we can live today. Basic text, page 29. Many of us had trouble identifying our resentments when we were new in recovery. There we sat with our fourth step in front of us, thinking and thinking, finally deciding that we just didn't have any resentments. Perhaps we talked ourselves into believing that we weren't sick after all. Such unwitting denial of our resentment stems from the conditioning of our addiction. Most of our feelings were buried and buried deep. After some time in recovery, a new sense of understanding develops. Our most deeply buried feelings begin to surface, and those resentments we thought we didn't have suddenly emerge. As we examine these resentments, we may feel tempted to hold on to some of them, especially if we think they are justified. But what we need to remember is that justified resentments are just as burdensome as any other resentment. As our awareness of our liabilities grow, so does our responsibility to let go. We no longer need to hang on to our resentments. We want to rid ourselves of what undesirable and set ourselves free to recover. Just for today, when I discover a resentment, I'll see it for what it is and let it go. Today, Emotions Anonymous, April 27th. Reflection for today. If it seems that on page after page on this book you are told to let go and let God, it is because it is a lesson we all seem to need to learn over and over again. It sounds so simple. Why is it so hard to do? And why do we continually need to be reminded? We need to be responsible for our lives, to do all that we can to solve our problems and deal with challenging situations. But we must remember that the responsibility is not ours alone. We may not know what our needs are, but our higher power does. We have someone to turn to for help at all times. We may think there is no way a certain situation can be resolved, but there is one who does know how it can be resolved. Meditation for today. May I remember that letting go does not mean I do not have to make any effort. Today I will remember, let God do the worrying. Strengthening my recovery. Meditations for adult children of alcoholics, dysfunctional families. April 27th. Amends. Many of us peep ahead to step 8 and 9 and sense that we have amends to make to various people, including our parents, who have harmed us as children. Oftentimes, this harm is the vulgar act of incest, physical abuse, or mental and emotional abuse by sick parents or caregivers. BRB, Big Red Book, page 109. When some of us looked ahead at steps 8 and 9, we couldn't understand how we owed amends to our perpetrators. The very idea was unthinkable. But what we didn't realize was that we were not going to be asked to make amends to unsafe people, and we certainly were not going to be asked to make amends for things we had no control over. In ACA, we learned that the amends we are responsible for are the things we've done as adults, which usually have their origins in our childhood abuse. However, whether we actually make direct amends is a personal choice because it is not always a safe thing to do. This is why we look for guidance from those who have already been on this road. If, with their help, we decide we cannot make direct amends to some people, we learn that indirect amends can be made, which includes becoming the person we were meant to be. The affirmation reads, on this day, before I make amends to potentially unsafe people, I will first seek the guidance of my sponsor or my other fellow travelers. An indirect amend may be more appropriate in many cases. Devotion, Health, and Beauty Recovery Network, Daily Affirmations, Reflections, Devotions, and Meditations. Read by Day. DAA are my initials. Subscribe, share, and like. Most of all, be the you that you are created to be, one day at a time.